Hey guys, I'm just walking out of work in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. That's where I work. This is my office building in the background. It's been a long day. Um, I only got like 4 hours of sleep, so I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna nap for like a very short amount of time, and then I'm gonna do some more work. I just made it home from work. Really tired. I was editing the vlog really late last night, so I'm gonna take a nap. But I just wanted to mention how amazing my room smells. I got these really nice candles um, from, where was this? This one was from Bed Bath & Beyond. These ones are from Yankee Candles. Always important to smell good. So I'm gonna go take a nap, and then I'll talk to you soon. Gonna do a lot of work tonight. We got some press releases to write, some spotlights to do and type up, and some social media posts to make for the next week. 7 days till the election. Let's bring this home. We're gonna make it happen. See you soon. Hey guys, this is Vez. I got a brief nap in, and now it's back to work. Yep. So let's do this. Hey Siri, that's enough.
I can't get the answer to that on HomePod.
Hey guys, so I'm up now, I'm well rested, and I'm ready to get to work. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna write a few press releases. I think what we're doing here is unique. I haven't seen anyone else vlog their journey to elected office. So we're gonna try to write an article about that. We're gonna send it to some of the news outlets. I'm not sure if they're gonna pick it up. It's a lot of times they don't pick up articles from candidates that haven't raised a lot of money, so but we're going to do our best to try. Another thing we're going to do is we've been taking a lot of photos while going door to door in Belleville and Newark, highlighting some of the residents. So we're just going to share those photos, so I just need to edit them, make sure that they look good, they're in our template, and put together the narrative. I've taken notes during a lot of these conversations, so we're going to put that together today. I'm going to try to get all of that content ready so that we can start phasing it in or putting them out over the next week. We just have 7 days to the election. I can't believe that. Time has flown so fast. And then another thing that we're doing is every day we have different graphics highlighting different issues. Today we were talking about the criminal justice system, which definitely needs a lot of reform, and it starts by ending for-profit prisons. But there's definitely a story in the news that I want to talk about that I just need to do more reading into, because I don't want to talk about anything without fully understanding all the facts and all the details. So I'm going to read some of those articles. It's hard to catch up on current events when you're out, knocking on doors all day and working 9 to 5. So I'm going to try to make sure I'm informed, and then I'm going to try to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Newark area with relation to the criminal justice system. So that's a plan for today. Let's see how much of that we can get done. But hopefully and ideally, I want to get all the graphics done for the next 7 days today, so that I can spend the next 7 days just talking to more people. And so that over the next 7 days, I can just continue to spotlight their stories, continue to talk to you guys through the vlog. That's the plan. So let's hope this is really productive. I should probably go and grab a coffee. And, oh, by the way, there's a tornado warning in this area right now, so that's a little scary. Maybe it's not the best idea to go out and get some coffee, but luckily I have some coffee in my kitchen, so I can probably make some here. But that's what the plan is for today, so I'll talk to you more as we get to work. Thanks so much for watching. So one thing that I've been noticing today and yesterday is that Facebook hasn't been really running my ads to their full extent. And that's really interesting, because you would expect a private company like Facebook, if someone's trying to buy ads, they would want them to run in their entirety, but that's not what's happening. It used to be happening earlier in the campaign, but something started to change, so let me show you a little more about that. So these are my currently active ads, and if you look, the amount spent is significantly lower than the total amount budgeted. So typically I'm able to set an amount I want to spend, and then Facebook will push the ad in front of as many people so that it gets the amount of engagements that would add up to that total budget. So this ad, it's now the end of the day, and I was hoping to spend $100 to push it, but they've only spent $13.75 to push this ad out to people. Now they have thousands of people, so they could push this out to more people, but for some reason it's not working. Same here, like I had intended to spend $30, but only $11.44 were spent. This ad is expiring in about an hour at the end of the day today. It's 10:19 p.m. right now, so it hasn't even halfway gone through the amount that was budgeted, which is honestly like we expect the full amount to be used. Now this is our most significant ad. We're spending a lot of money on it, and this ad has been approved, but nothing at all is being spent. Okay, so this was created on 27th, today's the 28th. $0 have been spent on that one specific ad. Now, let me show you what things used to look like, because this is a recently occurring problem. So these are our old ads from earlier in the campaign. We budgeted $50 and $50 were spent. This was over the course of one day. And if when we scroll back up, you're going to see, look at that, the number of people reached, 2,000. Cost per engagement was 46 cents, no problem. That's exactly what we were expecting things to be like. And same here. Early in the campaign, we ran this ad. 50 out of $50 were spent over the course of one day, and a lot of people were reached. And this was happening consistently with every single ad, but for some reason now it's not doing that anymore. So I'm very frustrated. I'm a little concerned, but I just wanted to highlight this issue because this is something that's affecting our campaign. The reason that this concerns me is because I was really hoping that Facebook would allow the playing field to be more level, right? It's an opportunity for us to reach a lot of people. And when the elected officials that are currently in their seats have hundreds of thousands of dollars and we only have $2,000 or almost $3,000, this was what was going to balance things out for us. So if we can't effectively send our message through these platforms and reach a larger audience, then that creates a lot of problems. And I was honestly hoping that social media could be a tool to help people like me and other people who aren't able to raise big sums of money to run for office effectively. And this kind of issue really is going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of people that are really trying to send out a strong positive message. So I just wanted to highlight that in today's vlog. Please make sure you check out the full vlog tonight when it drops. Thanks. One thing that I do want to know before we get started about talking about this issue, because I know this is a very controversial one, everything that I'm about to say is just my opinion. And I want to hear your opinion as well, so please feel free to leave a comment below. Please feel free to just tell me what your take is on this whole incident, because I'm not perfect. Maybe my perception could be flawed, and I just want to understand what you think or how you perceive this incident, but what you're about to hear is just my take on it. So my opinions are always open to be molded. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think, so that I can make the best assessment of all the information and all the facts. So I hope you'll let me know what you think. Thank you very much. So I wanted to address an issue that has been talked about a lot in Newark, which is this officer-involved shooting. And it started, the story came out about a week ago in the New York Times, titled "Newark Police Officer is Charged in Shooting Death of Fleeing Driver." And, there's a video included that showed an officer chasing after a car, and it shows the whole pullover and the car driving away. And I want to be clear that you should not drive away from a police officer, and you should definitely comply with what they order you to do. But I do believe that this whole incident was very improperly managed, because in the video you can clearly see that this chase is going on, and this officer claims to have seen a gun, and a gun was recovered from the vehicle. But what I personally don't understand is, in the video, the officer who's chasing after this cop car, who's chasing after this car, I don't understand why he's shooting directly at both the passenger and the driver. You know, if you're trying to stop a car and if you're trying to pull someone over, then what I would assume, and I'm not a law enforcement expert, but what I would assume is that you would shoot out the tires, or you would, try to find a way to stop the car without having any casualties involved. But in this case, the officer just went directly to pointing and aiming directly at both the passenger and the driver. And, that's no way to stop a vehicle. That's asking for something bad to happen. So that's definitely a big concern of mine. And the second concern that I have is an article came out I believe it was either yesterday or today, and it said that the police officer that was involved, after last week, the New York Times article said that the officer was indicted on charges of manslaughter by a grand jury. Let me just read it specifically. A grand jury indicted the 26-year-old officer in connection with the police shooting death of a man who fled in a traffic stop in January. So this was last week. I'll put a link to the article. And what this article, the new article that came out today, and I'll put a link to this one as well, it says that the judge frees Newark cop accused of outrageous recklessness and fatal shooting of drivers. So he's not, free completely. He, of course, has to go back for the trial. This article says that the officer will be free while he awaits his trial on charges including aggravated manslaughter. And the reason I want to highlight this is, this is not what would happen if this guy was not a police officer. If this guy was just an average citizen, or, someone that had committed even a lesser crime, not murder, they would never get away with being able, especially if it's a violent offense that's not murder, they wouldn't get away with, getting out on bail. People would assess that, they could be a potential harm to the community and keep them behind bars, because, that's what happens in a situation like this. But it looks to me like there's two separate criminal justice systems at play here. There's one for normal people like you and me, and there's an entirely separate one for police officers, where this man fatally shot one person. He, shot the other person in the head who was injured. And he gets to go home to his family and just await his trial. Whereas, someone who is convicted on a marijuana offense in the same city could be locked up without having that same opportunity. And so these are crimes that that are not similar at all. These are crimes that, one is extremely terrible. The other one is definitely up for debate. And the one that's a police officer gets to go home and see his family, whereas the average person doesn't have that opportunity. They might be offered bail. They might be able to go home while they await trial, but a lot of ordinary people don't have the kind of money to pay that bail, and they end up being locked up until their trial. And then during those trials, they end up getting locked up for even longer. So I just wanted to highlight, this is scary, and something needs to happen on this front, because we can't have two separate criminal justice systems, one for officers and one for just ordinary people. So I just wanted to make sure that we address this, because this is an extremely terrifying situation. Hey guys, we are now 6 days away from the election, because it's 12:30 a.m., so it's technically 6 days now. And I am just answering some questions on our Reddit AMA. Thank you guys for asking questions. I really appreciate it. It's so important to be an engaged part of our democratic process. So just by asking questions, that's what you're doing. You're setting yourself up to make an informed vote on June 4th, and I think that's really important. So thank you so much for doing that. The first question is, my wife and I will be moving to the north side in a few months and are concerned about the lead in the water. What can we do to help find a more permanent solution to the problem? That's a really great question. There is lead in the drinking water in a lot of households in Newark, and that's something that actually really needs to be addressed on a local and state level. I personally think that we need state level funding to just replace the lead pipes, the lead infrastructure. That's what's really important. The city has put in place an 8-year program where they're asking residents that are affected to pay $1,000 to have their lead pipes replaced. I think that isn't the best way to go about this. I do think all the pipes need to be replaced, but I don't think it should be at the expense of homeowners. I just don't believe that's fair. For a lot of the homeowners, they aren't the ones that installed the lead pipes, so why are they the ones paying to get that fixed? And especially in a city like Newark, where there are corporations like Panasonic and Prudential that are getting multi-million-dollar tax cuts, it just doesn't make sense to force the residents who need access to clean water to have to pay $1,000 to get their pipes replaced. So that needs to change. That's something that we're going to fight for. But for the time being, there aren't a lot of permanent solutions. There aren't a lot of cost-effective permanent solutions. I suppose you could hire a contractor to have your pipes replaced privately, or you can get on the city's list, which can take up to 8 years to have them replace your pipe. But a temporary solution would be to get a water filter that is certified to remove lead. That is actually really important. And then you can also get water bottles. So I'll put a link up here for you, because the city supposedly offers free water filters. So I'll put a link so that you can get more information about those free water filters. But that's an important step that you should take to make sure that you're not consuming water that has lead in it. Also, I'll put a link to this as well, but the city will test your water for you. At least that's what they claim. So you just have to sign up. There could be a long wait time, but I'll have that link for you as well, so I hope that helps. The next question is, there should be both tax incentives and some assistance. Making Newark competitive is part of making Newark great again. I am concerned because my $11K property bill on my home, even in Newark, there are many adjacent towns around Newark, perhaps can be consolidated into a larger Newark or Essex school system. The state needs such reforms because tax burdens are too high in the state. Do you support Senator Sweeney's path to progress? So this is definitely a very well thought out question. I personally, I'm not a big fan of the tax incentives. I think we should be investing directly into the people of Newark, and not these corporations that claim that they're going to do good things for the residents, because they just haven't. There are schools in some of the outer wards that are still struggling and people struggling to get students to come to class. And that's not because the students don't want to come to class. It's because a lot of these people don't have access to clean clothes. That's why we saw Westside High School, the principal, Akbar Cook, he got a lot of attention because he installed a laundromat inside his high school because people were able to clean their clothes and then they were more comfortable in going to school. And so what I didn't like about that whole story and how it was spotlighted was the fact that, we made the high school out to be a hero when we should really be looking at look at the way that people are living in this community. There are people that are so impoverished that they can't afford to clean their clothes, and those are the people that deserve our investment. If we shouldn't be spending millions of dollars on tax incentives for these corporations when there are people that can't even get access to clean clothes in that same city. So no, I don't support consolidating the school district. No, I don't support Senator Sweeney's path to progress. I think it's very backwards. I think it's taking money from the wrong places. I think what we need to look at is increasing the tax on the wealthy. So having a higher marginal tax rate on income over $1 million. What that means is for every dollar that people earn over $1 million in 1 year, that should be taxed at a higher percentage, and we're not talking about like 30%, like 50%, like I'm talking about like 10%. That's the proposed millionaires tax by Governor Murphy, and that would bring some much needed revenue into our state, which could end up being used as property tax relief or for property tax relief. Another thing is just the EDA needs to be reformed because $11 billion of state money just went into these giant corporations that had no obligation to create jobs. So that's money that could have been used in property tax relief. So I don't think we need to work on consolidating the school districts. I think that's a band-aid. That's not resolving the bigger issue here. The bigger issue here is, we have some of the highest taxes in the nation. And we're using that in the wrong places. We're investing it in the wrong places. We're investing it in corporations that are doing nothing for the people of Newark, and we need to work on investing that directly into property tax relief, into investment in our public education system, and in investment in programs like job training programs that are actually going to help people on a individual level. So that's what I think needs to happen on that front. Thanks for asking the question, though. And then the third question is, hi there, Vez. Welcome to the Newark subreddit. We really appreciate you engaging with us. I have a few questions. See below. What is your stance on public transportation, and do you plan on supporting marijuana legalization? Why or why not? Thank you so much. That was such a kind question, and just the way you presented it, I really appreciate it. We should be engaging with you guys because you're an important part of this community. My stance on public transportation is it needs to be radically revamped. I think the New Jersey Transit is very inefficient, and we need to see a lot more investment in them. And I think that we should use this as an opportunity to transform our public transportation system. We should look into innovation, right? There are technologies like Hyperloop that exist, which is, which uses magnetic rail to transport people at high speeds. It kind of alleviates the problem of congestion, because if these trains are going at such high speeds, you can get more trains in, and you can get more people to where they need to be in a speedy manner. I mean, you look at other countries, right? Japan has, what's it called? The levitating trains or something. It is real. It's like a magnet rail. They use magnets, and the benefits of that is, without friction, you can go a lot faster. And so some of their trains are extremely fast. And I think we need to bring that technology to New Jersey. I think we need to just spend a lot of money in that, right? Because that's something that affects working people, that affects a lot of people that are trying to get to their job in New York, or just trying to travel in a cost-effective manner. We should at least make some significant investment to radically transform that. And I just think the existing infrastructure is overpriced, and you're not getting what you're paying for. And I do support legalizing marijuana. I think it needs to happen. I think it should have happened yesterday, and a year ago, or even longer. I just think it's a factor of the way the criminalization of marijuana has led to overpopulation of our prisons, right? There's this war on drugs that is disproportionately affecting communities of color, and it's there are statistics that show that there's no disparity between the use of marijuana. Like communities use it to the same extent. You know what I mean. And what I mean actually is, let me try to clarify that a little more. Is that communities of color use it as much as Caucasian communities, and just all diverse communities. There's no difference, but there is a difference in the amount of people incarcerated in relation to substance use. So it's just a system that's not working. That shouldn't be the only reason that it should be legalized. I don't think it's harming anyone. Alcohol has been legal for a long time, and you could argue that it has less significant effects than marijuana does. To me, it just doesn't make sense. I think it's targeting, a specific group of people. It's a money-making machine for the prisons. So I don't think it should be illegal. And that's where I stand on that. It's more about the justice aspect of it. We want to make sure people are treated fairly, and this is an excuse to lock people up, and we don't want more excuses to lock people up. People should be locked up if they're threatening other people's livelihoods. That's the situation where people should be locked up. I think we need to see massive reform in our criminal justice system, because we're locking up way too many people. If you look at the statistics, we lock up more people per capita than any other nation in the world. That's like the one of very few things that America is leading the way in, is how many people we lock up per capita. So that's not a good statistic. Let's change that, and it starts by ending the war on marijuana. All right, those were the questions. Keep them coming. They're great questions, and feel free to get really creative with it. Feel free to even ask personal questions if you'd like. I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you so much for participating in this election process. It's really important that you stay engaged, and I appreciate the fact that you are staying engaged. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching through the whole vlog. That's incredible that you made it this far. I just want to address the fact that the money ticker is not in the corner, and that there's no cool graphic here that tells you what time we're at. It's just been a really long night, and I unfortunately didn't have a chance to make those edits. It's already right now 3:30 a.m. So I'm doing the best I can, but and I'll try to get those graphics into the next video. And I'm also going to do some promos where I take out some segments from this video and make them as separate posts. But this is just it's a lot of work. We are trying to really send a message here and say that with a lot of hard work you can win an election like this. We're just trying the best that we can. We don't have a full team. Like you can see, a lot of what we're doing is just my work. But that's not to say we don't have a great team behind us. We do have an incredible team of amazing volunteers. But in terms of the vlog specifically, this is something that I'm driving. And so please do bear with me, and we'll try to get those graphics up in the next video. So thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. And I hope you check us out tomorrow, because still got a lot to do before the election, and we're gonna bring this home. We're gonna hit this out of the park. Thanks so much for joining.